What is up, guys? Clay Enjoyer here, and it is time to enjoy. And in this video, I made a cat shark. And to start off this video a little bit differently, I can make the base first, and then the models go on top of it. There's no real reason for this, I just wanted to make the base first as a nice change of pace, I guess. With the armature bulked out, I can now build it up with clay on all sides because I need to add some texture somehow, and last time I checked, aluminum foil doesn't take texture very well. Then I can scrunch up some more aluminum and rub it all over the surface to make cuts and cracks and scratch marks to make the rock look as normal as possible. Now with the last bit of texture on the rock, I can set it aside before working on making the aforementioned cat shark, which, like all my other sculptures before, starts out with a body of aluminum foil with some armature wire to make the limbs. Then, with the body roughly in place, I can estimate where I'll have the limbs on the rock and get to making holes for those limbs. With the holes for the legs made, I can now bulk up the rest of the cat shark to cover up the unsightly aluminum body. And the only reason I'm actually using this white clay is because I ran out of the other oddly flesh-toned clay that I have, so I'll have to work with this. Now with my white submarine smoothed out, I can add a big blob of clay on the front and cut into it to act as the cat shark's head. Now that my sculpture is looking extra suspicious, I can quickly open and hollow out the mouth to make it look normal-ish. Then, to make the mouth look like an actual mouth, I can blend some clay in the back to give the mouth a little bit more support, and then I can blend some weird worms of clay on the sides, and for some reason, I don't know why I did this, but I think I was going for a different sculpture before I originally changed it for this video, but now I can add some weird things to the side of the mouth that will eventually hate and remove later. Then, with one of my metal shapers, I can carve out the gum line for the cat shark to make him look a little scarier and a little less silly. And then I can also add some ginormous teeth off camera to really sell the spooky, scary effect. I thought the cat shark's bottom jaw was a little too thin, so I can put on some clay to make it look a little thicker and a little less skinny, before doing the same thing for the nose and making it look a little bit pointier. Then I can poke some nose holes in place so the cat shark has means of breathing, but I guess he would have gills too, but I didn't add those because I thought that it was shifting a little too close to the shark. Then I can add some eyes and some eye holes, which will be filled with eyeballs, which will be eventually made extra angry. Now with Adam's eyebrows looking extra angry like I just said, I can give him his ears before moving on to something else, because that is the face done up to this point. Now with the face done, I can move on to making the body looking a bit more normal by squaring it off with some tubes of clay before then blending them in and making the spine, which is the same process, just, well, for its spine. With Adam's spine blended and smoothed into his body, I can start by adding his top fin to make him look more like a shark. And since I thought Adam's tail was a little bit too long, I took all the clay and aluminum off before rebuilding it with more of a cool curve in mind to make the body look a little bit less long. And then I can put Adam back on his base to start building out his legs, which are obviously big and muscular, because if this is a massive cat shark, then he's going to need some appropriately beefy muscles. With a little bit more definition on Adam's hind legs, I can then start to work on making his front arms, which are the same process, just obviously smaller, so, well, they're arms. But I can still build them up and give them some definition so they don't look so wimpy. To make Adam look a little bit more anatomically correct, I can add his back and bottom fins to make it look a little bit more realistic. But I don't really know if I'm going for realism here, because last time I checked, cat sharks don't exist, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Now I can move back to Adam's legs and give him some little spooky cat shark toes that are 100% accurate. Now, since Adam is looking more like a shark than a cat, I can scratch about 4 billion lines into the entirety of Adam's body to add the rough layer of fur, making sure to get all the fur everywhere, including his fins and his underbelly. Then, to give the fur some more fine texture, I can use this weird Christmas tree looking brush thing. And then, to smooth out everything and get the last of the odd ends, I can use a paintbrush. Now, I can disassemble, and it's time to prime with some white spray paint. I can start by painting Adam's rock a nice rocky gray, as all rocks should be, and then I can give that rock a very dark brown black wash to soak into all the recesses, and I think this is a fantastic rock, before then dry brushing it as well to bring out the cracks and scratch marks. Then with the rock done, I can start painting Adam. I wasn't really sure what color to go for, so I was just basing this paint job off of one of my cats, which starts out as a brown base coat with some light and dark browns blended in to add a little bit of variation and slight pattern. And to bring out some of the sharpness in the fur, I can dry brush some dark brown and lighter browns all over Adam's body before painting the eyes a nice dark black. Now I can move on to painting Adam's mouth, which starts out as a way too bright pink for the gums and the lips, before then moving on to some barely noticeable light pink on the edges of the gums to try and add a little bit of variation. Now the last step to completing Adam's mouth is to repaint his teeth a nice white, before then giving them a light brown wash to make them look a little dirty and less clean. I'd like to admit something. Like at the start of the video how I said that I wasn't gonna make a base, I actually changed my mind because I had a really good idea. To start with, I can clean up this MDF circle by repainting it black and then sticking the rock in place. And for the base, I want it to look like the rock is sitting in some river, so I can start with laying a layer of sand and then layering some more slightly darker, bigger bits of sand, before then making some big light gray and dark gray rocks to put over top of the sand, which then can be locked in place with some PVA glue. And then I can also add some little sticks that I made off camera from some, well, sticks. And then to add a little bit of extra life, and then I can start by mixing up the resin. I know it looks really green now, but that's because the green bottle kind of exploded into the resin, so I'm carefully trying to mix it to get a more accurate color. Now it is time to pour the resin. With my ramshackle frame in place, I can carefully pour the resin into all of the extra and empty spaces, making sure to also put some resin on the other side too. Then I can watch the magic happen and check back in 2 days. Then I can take off the mold and see how well the resin looks, in my opinion. This is the first time I've had a resin success, so I am very happy about it. Then, to try and make the water look a little bit more lively, I can push around some watered down Mod Podge with my airbrush to try and make it look, well, more lively, even though it didn't really work as well as I wanted. Then I can fix up the sides by painting it black, and then I can add some whiskers to the side of Adam's face to make him look a bit more like an actual cat. Then I can bend the whiskers into a cooler position and then sprinkle some grass in place. You know that I'm really impatient about this at the moment because I couldn't even let the grass dry because I was so pumped for the glamour shots. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more creations that no one asked for. And in this build, I had a lot of fun using the resin, so if you guys had any suggestions that involved resin, maybe I might do them for another build in the future. See ya!